Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Rob Smith back again for Combat Sports UK. I'm here with Cage Warriors Academy title challenger and friend of the channel, Dacre Bradley. Dacre, how are we, mate?
Glad to be back on, mate. Glad to be in fight week. Yeah, we get to do it all again. Let's do it.
Last we spoke, you built up to your first Cage Warriors Academy title against Julian Torhag, and for those who don't know, Dacre won by a fairly dominant performance, unanimous decision across the board. And we'll kind of touch on that win because we haven't really spoke on camera since that win. So obviously, leading up to that one, you lost your previous two fights. So was there any pressure on yourself to win that fight, or was it kind of just every fight's the same to you?
It's weird. In hindsight, now I realize there was, but at the time, it didn't necessarily feel that way. It didn't really feel like I was on a 2-fight losing streak, even though I was, because they were like learning fights or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, definitely, as they say, like you're as good as your last one. So obviously my last one being a dominant performance puts you in a good headspace. But to be honest, my mindset is my biggest asset anyway. So yeah, whether I'm coming off a win, a loss, a draw, like I'm always going to come in confident and going for the kill. So yeah, I'm excited for Saturday.
And for those who also don't know, Dacre's got a fight coming up this Saturday, October 5th, for the Cage Warriors Academy title, which for my money is one of the best amateur titles you can get. There you go. So you're fighting against Christian Young. Do you know much about your opponent?
Yeah, actually, funny enough, we spoke a bit at the last show. Like he's a respectful guy, you know what I mean? It's just respect between two fighters who realistically probably were sizing each other up a little bit, you know what I mean? Because he's fought a few lads from my gym. So I knew who he was, through that. And then, yeah, no, it was literally, I'd just finished my fight showering up and I think he just arrived for his. We just had a little chat. And yeah, it sounded enough. And then it was kind of weird because when I won the fight, I spoke to Jack Mason and asked for the title shot and he said he was up for it. And then I just had a little bit, I had an idea of two names that were going to come through and Christian was one of them. So then when his name came through, I said yes in about 5 seconds. And yeah, then I'm sure it was the exact same for him. And I think it's a great matchup. It's got a lot of hype around it. We've actually trained with some mutual people in the past. So yeah, it's I'm very familiar with what he's trying to bring, and who he is as a fighter. Whereas I think from his end, he doesn't really know too much about me, and I'm still quite an unknown quantity. So be a very interesting matchup on Saturday night, and a lot will be revealed.
Will this be the first title that you fought for in your career?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, in MMA.
And so, does that add any extra pressure, or are you more focused on the challenge of Christian and not really much the belt, or is it like kind of a mix of the both? Is there any added nerves with it being for a title?
I mean, it's actually 3-minute rounds, so it's nothing's really different. Just the reward at the end, really. But like you said before, I mean, it's the most prestigious amateur bout in Europe, in my belief. So yeah, that adds it's an added incentive. It definitely it's nice to put your hard work into something like that. Look, there's the belt. You know what I mean? I built up to that. Do you know what I'm saying? But to be honest, whether the belt was on the line or not, Christian's great opposition for me. He's ranked pretty high. I'm not sure off the top of my head. And I just want those high-ranked guys with a lot of experience. And yeah, that's how this match came into fruition. But I'd be lying if I said that the belt, doesn't add something, because I came into my amateur career, literally my only goal genuinely since I started my amateur career was to win the Cage Warriors Academy title. I've never really been interested in anything else, or seen it in my head as a big deal. So yeah, to be fighting for it, and what's this, my sixth amateur MMA fight, it's come a little bit sooner than I expected in terms of fights, but I'm ready for it now. And on Saturday night, I'll tell you what's mine.
You kind of spoke after you beat Julian. You asked for the title shot. Was that always the plan to go in, or was it kind of more how the fight went? Because like you said, you won in very, very dominant fashion. Was you thinking off the back of that performance, you're thinking, right, while the iron's hot, I'll strike, I'll call for that title. Was that always the plan, or was it kind of just the way you performed that was kind of what influenced you to ask for the title shot?
so I'd always wanted to fight for that title. You know, like this year was kind of a goal I had in my head. So, and I know they have a show that they do in December, and I was like, okay, maybe I have to get 2 wins on the show, fight for it in December. But then after that win, I just shot my shot. So put me in for the belt. We all shook hands, and that was that. And here we are. You know, like that's how it goes. You know, like look, when an opportunity falls at my feet, I will never be one to shy away from a risk or whatever it is. You know, I'll always roll the dice. But with this, it's not really a roll of the dice because it's a very calculated move because there's been preparation for weeks. And not really weeks. This is years of dedication and investment into this sport that is going to show on Saturday night. So, yeah, just seize the opportunity and enjoy the show, I guess. You know, that's what I would say to those in attendance and those watching on pay-per-view.
And you kind of touched on how you've trained with familiar people with Christian's also trained with. Have you spoken to any of those people who, like, say, your mutual friends? Have you spoken to those, and what makes you so confident in this matchup against Christian?
Well, you see, like, there's people who train with him, but my main training partner at Delphi's like finished him in a fight. So I mean, I was consulting Delphi, but I mean, like, you know, I put up some playful stuff and that. But like, look, every fight is different. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone evolves in between fights, especially at the points we are now. You know, like high level amateurs, they can go up leaps and bounds in between fights. So like, you know, because you could look at an old loss of mine and think, oh, I could beat him this way, but I'm not that fighter anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? In the same way that there's losses of his that I'm going to look at, he's not that fighter anymore. Do you know what I mean? So especially at this point where fighters are growing loads, you're going to see 2 completely different fighters on Saturday night. And that's what makes this so exciting because, you know, we both think we've got each other figured out, and we get in there and we see who's right. And, you know, I've had a crazy camp, you know, like I'm in the shape of my life. He's going to be thinking and saying the exact same things. I'm going to get in there and we're going to find out. So, you know, but in answer to your original sort of question, there has been some game planning, you know, but I'm not too big into, you know, I have an idea of how he's going to react when I start doing certain things. But, you know, I'm not too big into, you know, fixing a dead set in stone game plan because you go in there and it's chaos. You just got to control it. And I'm more focused on me. You know, like he should be game planning for me because I'm the problem in there. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see.
And for also those who don't know, who don't follow Dacre on like social media or anything, this isn't the only title fight that you've got scheduled. Which, from we first spoke coming off a loss, now you've got 2 title fights booked. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to see. But your hard work's paying off. Like when we first met, you came across with that confidence, and I thought, okay, this lad's got something about it when we first spoke. And now that you're actually fighting for the Unity title, where that's where we first met at Unity in Darlington. And so, obviously, I don't want to talk about too much about that fight just yet because you've got a goal at man. You've got like Christian first. I'll briefly mention it. You're scheduled for November 16th, I believe, or is it November 16th? It's November 16th.
Yeah, November 16th.
Against Luke Pemberthy. And so, how did that title fight come about? Did Steve contact you directly and say, look, Dacre, we've got a fight, or was that a fight that you asked for?
No, so actually, it was a few weeks out. It was actually a couple of weeks after this fight got sorted. You know, I'm always want to keep fights booked to stay active because, you know, that's just how I like to be. And yeah, so no, I'd seen that Unity were trying to match things up, and the title was actually, I thought the title was vacant. So I actually messaged Steve saying, like, can me and Ellis rematch for the belt? That was actually the thing, but that didn't actually come to fruition because Luke's holding the belt. So then anyway, like Steve was like, oh, I can't do that. So I just forgot about the whole thing. And then like about a week or 2 later or something like that, I got a message from Steve saying, are you still up for that title shot? And I think a lot of people had said no to fighting Luke. So he messaged me, said yeah, straight away. It was sorted. It was booked, and straight away put to the back of my mind because, you know, obviously all my focus is on Christian Young right now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that fight's booked, you know. Obviously, there's the potential to be champ, you know, 6 weeks after this fight, which is when that one is. But you know, I'm not looking past Christian Young by any means, you know. And that's the thing, when some people see that I get a second fight booked, I'm not looking past no one. But like, it's, you know, it's 6 weeks after. It's quite a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, that's really not on my mind at all at the minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just sort of came about. An opportunity again was presented to me, and I said yes. I'm not gonna sit on it till after this fight and then someone else hopped in like, nah, I wanted my name forward because I want to come for all these belts at amateur, before I go pro. So yeah, it's a nice incentive knowing that not only is there the title next Saturday, but that can bounce me into my next fight and my next fight. And But it's the never-ending climb in this sport. So yeah, we're going for champ, but more importantly than anything, on Saturday night, I'm going for Christian Young. So.
And you recently spent some time out in America. How long were you there for?
I was there 6 weeks. Like 2 weeks of it was just like a holiday. I have like a good friend out there, so I was staying on his sofa, just enjoying life for a little bit after the that run of activity I had. And then I had 4 weeks down in Miami actually at a gym called MMA Masters. They took me in. They let me literally live upstairs at the gym, just sleeping on a mattress upstairs. So I was living at the gym for like a month. I got to do loads of cool stuff around the city and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just training, living that life. Made some friends for life there, and learned some new tricks, etc. Then yeah, and then ever since I've been back, 4 or 5 weeks now, whatever, at GB Top Team, like my tribe, my home. Just carrying on with the same stuff, putting in hard work, smart work, and moving towards the target, which is Saturday night. So yeah, it's been a long camp. Had a lot of different looks, trained with a lot of different training partners. Really, I know everyone says it, no stone unturned, etc. But I've put it all in, and on Saturday night we're going to see it.
And being out in America, did that kind of give you like a taste of what's potentially to come in the future? Because I know like you've trained with some UFC guys over there, and when say the UFC comes around your future, that kind of give you a feel because obviously they have a lot of fights in America, so there's a good chance in the maybe in the near future you could be flying out to America having fights. So being over there, does that kind of give you a taste of what the experience would be like?
Yeah, 100%. It's motivating in that sense of like if you're trying to get to the UFC, most of their shows in America, that's the promised land of fighting. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was great being out there. Like training with UFC fighters is pretty normalized to me now. Like I've been doing it for years. Like sparring, grappling, etc. for years. So that's a massive benefit of mine. But that's not just in America. You see, like obviously out there, it's different looks. Every gym, different styles, different approaches, etc. So yeah, I gained loads from training at MMA Masters. It was an amazing gym, and they took me in and looked after me. So nothing but good things to say about that gym. But yeah, but it's like at GB Top Team, we got UFC fighters. Got Nathaniel Wood, we got Lona Campbell's just been signed. We got we got Brad was in the UFC. There's other UFC fighters there, Mark Casey, loads of UFC guys. So like being around UFC guys, training with UFC guys, and not just the UFC because the sport's changing. Bellator, PFL. I mean, I'd be here all day listing the bodies we got at GB Top Team. So I'm very used to high level looks and high level training. So that's what I think you'll see on Saturday night will be high level.
And is there anyone in particular who really pushes you the hardest when training at GB Top Team? Any particular names?
Lonnie, 100%. I actually said his name wrong about 2 seconds ago. I don't know how I managed to pull that off, but I get to train with Lonnie. Yeah, he's actually going to be cornering me on Saturday night. So
oh wow, that's a great person having your corner. Someone so experienced.
Yeah. It's great training with him. Like it just shows me the level. So many holes in my game that I have to fix. And it's just like like I'm in the exact same environment as him. So you see these guys, you see Nathaniel as well, all these guys pushing at the highest level, and it's like we're all kind of going through the same system under Brad Pickett and Ashley Grimshaw. So it's like that's where we're all working towards. So to be able to, I don't have to look anywhere else for inspiration. I've got lots of other training partners. Giovanni Scott, Cage Warriors fight. I get to train with him a lot. He pushes me loads, gives me I've leveled up so much since I started to train with him. Other amateurs at the gym that I get to train with loads. I don't even want to start because I'm going to forget someone. I mix it up with too many people too often I don't want to start listening. But everyone knows who they are. Like it's yeah, like it's an amazing team. It's a blessing getting to wake up and go and do what I love every day with people who I enjoy spending time with, and just leveling up. You know, it's yeah, it's tough
Perfect.
stuff. So.
Unreal, mate, unreal. And so before we finish off, I'll give you a chance to shout out your socials, and also, like I said, if you want to watch the fight, get tickets. If you're local, I believe it's the same place again, Colchester.
Yeah, Colchester Charter Hall,
Same
Essex.
again. Not also if there's a pay-per-view link, you have a pay-per-view link in your Instagram. So if you do, shout out your Instagram, mate, shout out your socials.
Dacre _Bradley on Instagram. That's the only one I'm really active on. So check me out on there. And yeah, get a ticket, come along. If you can't make it, there's a pay-per-view, and enjoy the show because it's all going to go down very soon. So not long now.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, mate. I think obviously I know you're starting to wake up Waterlord, so it's not easy doing sort of interviews at this sort of time. But I really do appreciate you taking the time to come and speak with me.
Yeah, no, I'm a little bit sharper when I got carbs in me. Do you know what I mean? A little bit sharper. But yeah, it's a pleasure having to be on. So yeah, thank you very much, Rob.
I appreciate it, mate. And like I said, October 5th, watch this man fight, and I'm sure I'm sure, mate, you'll have an unbelievable performance.
That's it. Strap season, my brother.
Quality, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, bro.